Welcome to the official AFL Fantasy Podcast with the Traders.
G'day with the Traders. Thanks to Sportsbet. I'm Rory, Coach Destroy, and I'm here with Warnie.
Coach of the War Dogs.
And Gavin.
Coach of Carminator.
If that does not get you up and about on New Year's Day, then I don't know what will.
I love it.
Isn't it good?
Yeah, I absolutely love it. There's something else I love at the Suns.
What's that?
And that is Flanders.
Ooh,
Sam Flanders.
yeah.
I'm going to just go
And the
with
Suns
a big
do
home
too.
run. Yes, they do.
They're up and about
They
with
know
him.
where it's at. Now, Flanders, in a forward line that is looking very thin, and there's not many temptations there to spend up at all. He is one where you are willing to at 8.09, which is actually a bargain. So that's got him, at an average of just below 90.
Yep.
Now, in the second half of the year, he averaged 105 when he was unleashed in that midfield and did what we all knew that he was capable, but he just hadn't been given that opportunity. Like early in the year, he played about 3 or 4 games and he was hitting 50s and stuff like that, playing God knows what role.
Yep.
And then, bang.
Yep.
So he's one that I'm just really comfortable to 100% lock in.
I think we have to.
So they've been hot on social about him.
They have.
Which I do like that stuff because it makes you feel like you're not going to really go too hard on someone they don't think things are going to change too much because they've got a new coach. That's probably the biggest question I've got about the Suns at the moment. Who's going, all this data from last year, what does that mean with old mate Damian Hardwick coming in, turning his sausages a different way up there in
for sure.
Gold Coast?
So that's the only fear in it all. At the moment, I'm willing to ignore that and focus more on his ceiling of 146.
Agreed.
Was that the grand final score, was it?
I think so, when he had 29 touches, 12 marks, 5 tackles, 2 goals off the top of my head once I traded him out. Awesome. Now, Noah Anderson, he is a player that was a frustration machine for people last year. His best is amazing, but his worst, without any justifiable reason, is really bad. Like, you can never say he was injured for that 70 or got tagged hard for that 70. Sometimes you watch and just go, where were you for that 70? That's the concern that always holds me back with ever launching into him. Now, I know people do, and the justification is always there. Like, I read the justification and I go, damn, that's a pretty good pick. But he always seems to find a way to disappoint from a fantasy perspective because he's built right. He knows how to do it. But I just steer clear. Like, his ceiling was huge as well. He had a 159. But how does he only end up averaging 100?
That's it.
Because he has some stinkers around it.
Does he have... Would we be surprised if he went at 110 this year?
No.
He's got the tools.
He's got the tools.
Yeah. And once again...
Dimmer let him have the tools.
That's the thing. Everyone we talk about here has an asterisk.
Yeah.
Because Dimmer hasn't traditionally had a fantasy-friendly
that's
game
if we go back to
associated.
thinking, like, and this is a real broad way of speaking about it, is that the mids were capped out a bit there at the Tigers with the way they played. Halfbacks did all right. But that was about where it was. Like, I don't know, is that totally game plan? Is it cattle? Is it what exactly is that? But it's got to be a flag.
It's a flag. I'm not worried about it, though, because it's a completely different toolkit that he's got here to what he had at the Tigers. But anyway, it is worth mentioning. Now, someone who has to be considered a huge bargain is Touk Miller.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
So he's priced at, 96?
Yeah.
Now, God, this is a guy who 2 years ago averaged over 120.
Highest averaging player in the game.
Highest averaging in the game. Then dipped a little bit, but still went that uber primo 110. Now he is down at a lowly 96. Now, injury played a massive role in this. So he started all right. I think 3 out of his first 4, I think, were tons. One of them was a little bit stinky, averaging about 105 early. So even people who bought into him, they weren't devastated with that, like, because he was always going to come good. But then he obviously copped that injury about the time we all jumped on.
Do you know, exactly when that was? Hawthorn must have been playing that afternoon here at Utah Stadium.
Oh, yeah.
And he went down.
We're sitting on the hill.
Yep. And he... it was like 49, if I remember correctly. It was under 50, and we bought him that week.
But he was scoring well. Like it was
leading up.
No, he wasn't. I don't think in that game.
That was actually going to be a stinker.
He wasn't. Stinker game.
He wasn't going well. But anyway, then he's come back late. So he came back in round 17 and he averaged 99 for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
All right. In his last two, he was really impressive. So he went big tons in his last two and he just looked where he was back to his best.
Yep.
Now, if he comes off a great preseason and he is unleashed in that midfield to hunt the ball, and he naturally tackles anyway. Yep. He doesn't have to be playing as a defensive midfielder to tackle. If he's a ball hunter, he's tackling at the same time. He's just a value pick that we shouldn't probably overthink.
The simple question, he goes more than that 96.
Yes, of course.
Now, this is the question on afl.com.au. What will Touk Miller average in 2024? And here are your options, Calvinator.
Okay. Yep.
Where's your fence sitting on this one? 120 plus, 110 to 119, 100 to 109, or less than 100. Right, put it down. Which one are you going to choose?
I've got him at 105, which is in the second last bracket.
That's right. I've got him in that bracket as well.
He's in that bracket, but 105. Then is that enough?
If it's pushing that 109, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's enough. It's 10 points.
He's 105. Is it 10 points, though?
But it's also, I think 105 is on the conservative side of that. That's conservative 105.
Yeah,
okay.
It is.
He's not going 122.
What would you need to see in the preseason of him? Like
just
those preseason
hunting
games?
Couple of photos with his top off, looking all ripped like you do.
He gave us that last year too.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he's someone that we seriously consider as, if we're trying to save some cash on our Uber premium types, he has to be up there at the top of the tree.
Well, we would have made him captain a couple of years ago.
Definitely.
He wouldn't have gone anywhere near it last year, the skipper.
Especially when we're in that position of guessing what role he's going to play within that midfield. Yeah. And he was pushing forward a lot. He was playing a lot of half-forward type jazz as well, which we don't really want to see. So it's a definite watch, this space, but it's certainly one.
Now, this is always a part of the Suns as well. They do have a couple of games up in Northern Territory. Yeah. And that's stuff we have to almost factor in a little bit.
Yes.
And they've got an early bye.
Yeah. All things that need to be considered, Dog.
Right.
Much like Jake Rogers in the midfield. Okay. So 261,000. He's one that we need to watch, because if he can force his way into the team, like his work ethic and, you know, the way he goes about the game has Piglet tendencies. He, what did he average in the Talent League? 26 possessions, 6 marks, average of 95, but you know, he's going to be one that we have in our teams over the next 10 years. And if he's getting games early next year, he's going to be in our team from the get-go.
Good keeper league sort of stash as well then.
Definitely.
That would be one to be looking at in your redrafts of those this year.
Yeah, he'll be a player. Now, the question everyone's asking is, do we start with or do we wait till during the season to get the rat pasta?
If that was a poll question,
well,
and the option was do not touch, that would get bulk votes.
If the poll said punch whoever suggested that in the head,
rat got up.
That's got to come back to you.
Yeah, and I wear it, and
because we shouldn't.
I'll take the punch in the head.
What did we get from the
I gave
rat?
myself enough for it.
Yeah,
the timing was wrong with it, and that was not my fault.
Yeah,
because the rat. What about when he was racking up back there, getting tons and stuff? Yep. Gosh. What about the week we needed him? What do you have that week?
That was up in Darwin.
Limp to what, 40 or something? So, okay, rat pasta. I just needed to... This is officially the last time that we, one, ever talk about either of them.
Put that to bed.
And two, no more bullying about ever talking. I don't need that anymore to be blamed for everyone's pain last year.
But Fiorini's like 71 average.
Yes.
2 years ago, it was 105.3.
Dog, I'm handing the baton to you.
Warnie, stop it. You're just teasing people.
You are.
105. That's 35 points upside.
Okay, he's on the watch list. Draftable.
No, don't do it.
No, don't do it. But I'll tell you what, Rat did have some massive games.
Oh, yeah. That's what Rat does. You haven't mentioned my mate Wittsy.
No, go for it. I left him for you.
Well, Which
91.
Yeah, but that's what he is.
Exactly.
He's a solid 90.
Where is he in your draft rankings? Yep, in that bottom end.
Yep.
But he plays plenty of games. That's why in draft, if you get him at the right play, he can be a premiership player.
Yep.
If you get him at the right spot in
At
draft.
the right spot.
Yeah.
Anyone else worth looking at?
Well, there's guys we've talked about over the years, like Lockie Weller.
So he's not back till a while, though, is he?
No.
I think he's mid-season.
Yeah. Brandon Ellis. No. Now, here you go. If we were really stretching, we haven't had to stretch here because we've had relevant guys, right? He's averaged over 100 under Dimmer before.
Oh, that's a good line.
That would have been my story.
Did you use that in the article?
Oh, I might have brought it up. But I don't need to waste time here because we had players that were actually, relevant.
Yep.
Not that
I guess the biggest watch on these guys is going to be what does Dimmer do?
Yeah.
What does he mean to this club?
Yeah.
And then the other one is the fact that they do have an early buy. What does that mean for our selections? But there's value there.
There is.
Who have you got that you like the most? Touk? You see probably the
Touk's the only one I have at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm not actually, with our conversation today, I don't know if I'm as keen on him as I probably was initially.
It's still there.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Well, no one's going to be surprised if he's one of those top 8 midfielders.
No. Forkhead.
Oh,
Forkhead, yeah. He's a dual position player. I just wanted to bring him up before we finish. 200,000.
Yeah. Oscar. Looks good on there, especially when it is abbreviated. It's like, Forkhead.
Yeah, I like it. I wasn't calling you names, dog. I just saw his name pop up.
Taking a little bit of offence to that. Anyway, go and take offence to some of the things we post on social media. Because I'm sure there'll be some replies to some of the things there.
I reckon that's a pretty good wrap. And there is a couple of relevant players, and they're moving in the right direction. They've got a new coach. If they're moving up the ladder, their points are moving
Will
up.
they play finals this year?
No.
Jeez.
No offence on that.
I think they will.
No, I don't think so. I'm not buying into that, but I do think they'll show some bit of improvement from a scoring perspective.
Fantasy-wise. There you go.
I'm with that.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, and make sure you're following on social media and all those places.
You've been listening to the official AFL Fantasy Podcast. For more expert advice from the traders, head to afl.com.au/fantasy.